I want to start this stream by giving a shout out to a website called momsboyfriend.com because I believe that that type of dynamic needs to be highlighted, and we've been highlighting it all year. We're getting ready to talk about this little girl right here. She's a beautiful little girl. She actually did survive her encounter with someone who was basically putting her through something that we call tyranny. That little girl that you guys see that is right there bandaged all up, her name is Kelsey Wilson. She is 1 year old, and this story is out of Milwaukee. I don't know if you guys have heard about this story or not. Nonetheless, there is a person, a demon that we're getting ready to talk about here. Mom's boyfriend, let me get his face back up on the screen right about here. This dude's name is Akeem Rashid Saygo. Akeem, kind of like in Coming to America. Y'all remember that Akeem? Maybe y'all need to go back and watch that really good movie. Akeem Rashid Saygo is 27 years old. When you date thugs, you date death. And this baby survived her encounter with regard to her mom putting her in this situation. So if anybody ends up finding out who the mom is, I would love to know who the mom is, who put her child in this messed up, jacked up situation. With this dude, he's 27 years old, and he was supposed to be caring for his girlfriend's 1-year-old daughter, but now he's charged with causing her serious injury. Okay? Now, Kelsey Wilson, again, the little baby, right here, she's 1 year old. She is bandaged from her torso to her toes after being badly burned by scalding hot bath water. Scalding hot bath water. And you guys have got to hear this story because it's incredibly dumb and crazy. We did just get a donation in. I will make sure and be a little more diligent this time. I'm going to read them as they come in. Say, God bless us. Keep up the great work. Elizabeth, if you are listening, thank you so much. I did just get yours in PayPal, so thank you so much. For the people that do want to donate to our platform and what we stand for, advocating for babies like this, first, before anything, links are in the description box if you guys want to utilize those. In this story, we actually were able to find out who the biological father is. Let me take a pause and give a shout out to the biological father. This man on the far right hand of the screen, his name is Anthony Wilson. That's her biological father who is standing up for his child. And honestly, I don't know why he didn't have custody of this child, because especially after this, I think he should win custody. So Anthony Wilson, if you're listening out there, you need to take this story, take you some money, whatever money that you've collected, or if people have donated to you or whatever, take it, go get you a lawyer and go take custody of your kid from the biological mother. Thought I'd throw that out there. That man on the far right side is Kelsey's father, and he broke down in tears when he saw his baby. She's definitely in a lot of pain, he said, and I couldn't stop crying when I first saw her. I do not understand how someone can do that to a child. Now, let's move on past this photo. Now, authorities say that the boyfriend right here, Saygo, Akeem Saygo, who has another child with Kelsey's mother, is responsible for Kelsey's injuries. So even in this case, the mother has more than one baby daddy, of course, because that's just what niggas do in the black community when we deal with these black queens. Apparently, we feel like we need to they just need to get impregnated by a bunch of different dudes, right? The child's mother had her in the boyfriend's care when a routine bath went tragically wrong. Court documents revealed the 27-year-old Akeem Saygo admitted that he made the water too hot, put the baby in the tub, left the water, and look at that smirk on his face, by the way, left the hot water on, then he went downstairs to do laundry. Now, how many of y'all out there that are listening right now, if y'all would, please click the thumbs up. Y'all know how that works. If everybody would, take a moment, take a pause for the cause, click that thumbs up and help us out. How many of you guys believe that that makes any type of sense? I'm going to read that again, and y'all let me know if that makes sense. Why is he giving her a bath? I feel you, Lanisha. We're going to get to that. Let's not jump the gun. We're going to get to that. He admitted that he made the water too hot, point number one. He put the baby in the tub. Why does he have access like that to a kid that does not belong to him? He left the hot water on, point number 3, which makes no sense. Then he went downstairs to do laundry, point number 4, right? So here's my thing. Hold on just a second. I can check that out real quick. Because I've got something that I want to add to that a lot of people might not be aware of. Let me check my stream real quick. Point number 3. We're good. So you earned it. That person in the chat earned it. Anyway, let's move past that. Here's my thing. I would like to know, why is he at the house in the middle of the day doing laundry? Why don't he have his dreadhead grown ass at a job? How about that? Y'all ever think about that? Because maybe some people hearing this story might not think about that until I bring that point out. He's doing laundry and giving these kids baths while the mom is at work. So what exactly does that mean? That means that he probably doesn't have a job. It's funny how these women want to go out and chase these men, the biological fathers, for child support, but you will bring in, excuse me, you will bring in a boyfriend, some thug dude off the street with no job, no credibility, no proven track history of being able to take care of kids or even take care of a home, and you'll put your child in his possession without any type of supervision at all while you're out working, just so you can make sure that you have your personal pleasures ready to go when you get home. But you will fight the biological father to make sure that he does not have access to his kid. It's just weird to me. Then on top of that, they said he left the hot water on, which I think is weird, and he made the water too hot from the jump. Y'all hear me? Somebody said niggas are the new hoes in the black community. Admin, wow. E. Lumber said with the water running, that's what I'm saying. What happened to the man taking care of the woman and the woman taking care of the kids? Times have changed, have they not? It's crazy. If he's not the dad, there's no way he should be giving them baths. I 100% agree. 100% agree. That's just a weird dynamic in itself. Now, that was the question that I asked because I highlighted it and I said, why is the boyfriend, this new boyfriend, giving the child baths without any accountability? It's not possible that this baby did not scream when he put this baby in this hot ass water. And that would also have to mean that he probably put that baby in that water by force, because the second that that baby's toe, that baby's foot would have been submerged in that water, that baby would have jumped, that baby would have tried to get up out of there. There's absolutely no way that that baby just sat there and was just burning and cooking in that water, and then he went to go just do laundry. None of that story makes any sense. And if it doesn't make any sense, it's usually some bullshit. Let's move on. I know my daughter, and my daughter would definitely have screamed as soon as she touched the hot water. Anthony Wilson, the biological father, stressed. Exactly what I said. Now, police reports show when the suspect later returned to the bathroom, Kelsey was crying. Saygo saw that she had burns on her body, and Saygo then texted Kelsey's mom, who brought her to the hospital. So this thug dude didn't even have the decency to take the kid to the hospital. We're going to talk about those photos here in just a second, because I think they're quite disgusting. She has second-degree burns on about 15% of her body, Wilson explained. According to the criminal complaint, officers were dispatched to Children's Wisconsin on Tuesday, December the 10th, in response to a child abuse burn case. The child involved, just 12 months old, suffered severe burns to a large portion of her body, including her legs, chest, back, and shoulder, the criminal complaint says. She's definitely in a lot of pain, said the father. I literally broke down. Wilson says she has horrific injuries, but is thankful that at least she's alive. And that's what we're thankful for. If we can get a prayer hands up in the chat for that, I think that's amazing in itself. Now, according to the criminal complaint, the child was put under anesthesia for a surgery she needed to be treated for burn areas. A doctor indicated the child's clinical presentation is a diagnostic for neglect and highly concerning for a child or for child physical abuse due to the pattern of the burns. The child has a risk of permanent scarring, I'm sure. She literally could have drowned, the father said, and it could have been a completely different situation. So this dude could have been facing a murder charge. So I agree. What's even more troubling, Wilson said that the boyfriend, Saygo, did not show any remorse at all. How many of y'all are surprised by that? Because I'm not surprised, because I've told you guys, if these men do not produce these kids, if they're not coming from their DNA, then a lot of times dudes like this are not going to treat these kids like their own, and they're going to show a very, very low level of care for these kids, which is exactly what you just saw here. What makes it even worse is the father said that the boyfriend did this on purpose. Y'all want to hear the biological father say it on camera? We got his interview. Right there, on camera, the biological father said that dude, the boyfriend, had a personal vendetta against the father, and he did it on purpose. The biological father also says that my daughter definitely deserves justice. And what I really want people to know is you definitely need to be aware of who you have around your kids, because you never know. But I can guarantee you that the biological mother knew that dude was a thug, and when you date thugs, you date death. That means that you should not have custody of your children or any other children that you actually have. Now, do y'all want to hear a crazy part about this story? There's no way this was an accident. Thank you, Natoya. Y'all want to hear something that's even more egregious? Mike, Elizabeth, Pamela, y'all want to hear what made it even worse? When they arrested him and charged him? How much do y'all think his bail was? Matter of fact, let me ask you guys. How much do you think his bail should be for what he did to this little girl? We're going to take a pause for the calls, and I'm going to let everybody answer. By the way, will one of my moderators let me know how many thumbs up we have so I can let people know where we need to stand on the thumbs up? What do y'all think his bail should have been for literally trying to boil a human baby, a baby girl? How much do y'all think the bail should be? I'm going to read your answers. Jimmy D thinks that it should be 5,000? Dawn said 100,000. I agree. It should be higher. Princess said no bail. Georgia said no bail. 1 million. Neil said no bail. Vicky said no bail. No bail. 1 million. 20K. I think I'm more along the lines of with Latoya. I think 20K, 50K would have been more suitable. Dang, Nika said 500,000. Million? 4 million? Do y'all want to know what his bail actually was? The boyfriend's bail. Akeem Saygo, the 27-year-old that tried to boil this baby, that fool, his bail was set at $1,000. Y'all did hear me correctly. $1,000 a stack. His bail was a stack. How does that even make any sense? You pay a bail bondsman $100 and you're out of jail for practically attempted murder. Yep. Nope. Not kidding at all. Not kidding at all. $1,000. Milwaukee is a y'all need to update y'all laws. That's something's wrong with that, and especially for it being a felony. I'm gonna want to point something out to y'all that also bothered me about this story. Not only is the bail $1,000, but I want y'all to understand that if he's convicted on what they charged him with, which is a Class A felony, it could carry a maximum penalty of 12 years and 6 months in prison. I want y'all to tell me, how does that make any fucking sense? I'm going to read that again. You get a $1,000 bail, which the majority of Americans can get out on a $1,000 bail if they just make a little bit of effort. But if you are convicted on what they charged you with, which there is a high likelihood that he will be charged and convicted, he could face 12 years in prison. Keep in mind, these are thugs. What do you think a thug is going to do if they know that there's a high likelihood that they could face 12 years in jail, or they could somehow come up with a bail bondsman who can cover $1,000, or a family member or his girlfriend perhaps to cover $1,000, and he could walk out and you could potentially never find him? That makes no sense at all. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Let me go ahead and show you guys the news videos. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. Let's get it. If I can play it. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Let me give a shout out to my guy, Jimmy D. If you're listening, shout yourself out in the chat, bro. Thank you for your donation in the Cash App, and thank you again to Elizabeth in the PayPal. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. If I can get the video to show up. Hold on. Takes me a moment. Only a moment. Let's get it.
Kelsey Wilson just celebrated her first birthday.
She's a very energetic young toddler. She just learned how to walk.
Her father, Anthony Wilson, says she's the light of his life, spending every weekend with him here. He nearly lost her early last week when police say she was left alone in a bathtub by her mom's new boyfriend, the hot water running.
I received a call from her mother in which she was very frantic and she sounded very upset.
What y'all just saw, that's the biological father right there. And I want y'all to notice the room, the baby room that he has set up for this little girl. Let me see if I can show you again. Looks like that. That's his daughter's room. I'm gonna back that up so y'all can see that.
Of his life, spending every weekend with him here.
Look at that room. It's all pink. It's got chairs. It's got a baby bed. It's got a dresser. It has a changing station. It has a diaper dispenser right there. All of this stuff I actually had when my daughter was born. And shout out to my daughter, Crystal Chan, by the way. But I understand because I had not a completely dedicated room, but I definitely had a lot of those same items. But this room is set up for a baby girl. And I got to commend him for that. That means that father put effort into that. That means he cared. And he had a dedicated space for his kid. Now, why would this father be having to struggle to get time with his daughter, but yet the boyfriend, who's a thug who ain't got shit, gets unmolested access to that kid? I don't understand that. The father seems to got his stuff together.
Energetic young toddler. She just learned how to walk.
Her father, Anthony Wilson, says she's the light of his life.
And that's a beautiful little girl. Let me give a shout out real quick. Princess X, I don't know if she's listening. Princess X, if you're still in there, said, thanks for being a light. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Also to Felicia. Felicia sent in a Cash App. So Felicia M, if you're listening, I want to say thank you very much. Just got your $5 Cash App. So thank you so much, Felicia.
Spending every weekend with him here. He nearly lost her early last week when police say she was left alone in a bathtub by her mom's new boyfriend, the hot water running.
I received a call from her mother in which she was very frantic and she sounded very upset.
According to the criminal complaint, 27-year-old Akeem Saygo texted Kelsey's mom, quote, "Need to take the baby to the hospital. Call me ASAP. I made the water too hot for the girls." He later texted, quote, "I put her in the tub first and left the hot water on."
I totally missed that. I'm going to back that up and I'm going to let y'all hear this again and y'all tell me what was missed.
Akeem Saygo texted Kelsey's mom, quote, "Need to take the baby to the hospital. Call me ASAP. I made the water too hot for the girls." He later texted, quote, "I put her in the tub first and left the hot water on."
So, that means he actually had access to 2 children by himself. He said, "I made the water too hot for the girls, but you only burned one of the 2 girls." Huh. Interesting, huh? Very interesting.
Hot for the girls. He later texted, quote, "I put her in the tub first and left the hot water on. Swear to God, I did not do that on purpose."
So Kelsey has second-degree burns on 15% of her body. So basically she has burns on her legs, her toes, her shoulder.
Wilson doesn't believe it was an accident.
I agree. Courtney says she's covering. I think the mom probably is going to try to cover for him.
Kind of felt like there was some animosity between me and him, and that's is what ultimately caused this to happen.
You feel like he was trying to get back at you by hurting your daughter?
Yes, sir.
Wilson shared this short video of Kelsey at the hospital this morning, just before her second surgery.
Yeah, she likes to play, she likes to eat a lot, and yes, she hasn't been the same since the incident. She definitely doesn't have the same type of appetite. She doesn't have the same smile. I'm waiting on that smile to come back.
Nick joining us live now. What are doctors saying about her injuries?
Well, they tell the parents that if all goes well, she should be able to walk again in about a month, but some of those scars could be permanent, Toya.
A Milwaukee man who was supposed to be watching a little girl a week ago today is tonight charged with causing her serious injury. That baby badly burned in the bathtub. Our Derica Williams with more on what happened and the plea made by the child's biological father today. Derica?
Well, the little girl's father wants the man to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law for his suspected actions. Because of neglect, a 12-month-old girl is at risk of being scarred for life. Bandaged from her torso to her toes.
She's definitely in a lot of pain.
Anthony Wilson
I literally broke down.
says it's heartbreaking seeing his daughter Kelsey Wilson in this condition.
I couldn't stop crying when I first seen it.
I am reading you guys' comments, but I do have to comment on what was just said. Pepper said, "Give the baby to the father. Mom doesn't need her." First and foremost, if that baby needed to be watched, why wasn't the mother giving the baby to the father anyway? That's number one. And number two, I think that he needs to go for custody immediately. And matter of fact, if they have a some type of an emergency thing to where he can come in like and take emergency custody, I think he needs to be able to do that. So if the biological father, if you're listening, bro, you need to try to go in and see if they can institute some type of an injunction to be able to get your kid immediately.
Like, I don't understand how someone could do that to a child.
Authorities say Akeem Saygo, who has another child with Kelsey's mother, is responsible for the child's injuries. The child's mother had her in his care when a routine bath went tragically wrong.
Dawn said that she believes she held him in the water. How many of y'all think that's what happened? I don't think for a baby that was this age that you could have kept a baby in boiling hot ass water, not even for a second. You would have had to physically held the child in that water. I think that's what happened. Zuby Zeus, thank you very much for your super sticker. Thank you very much. Wait for it. I like that. Thank you. I don't think there's any way that a child like this, you would have been able to just stick them in the water and they would have just sat there. Absolutely no freaking way. That's what I believe. I think he held her down in the water.
Court documents reveal the 27-year-old suspect admitted that he made the water too hot, put the baby in the tub, and left the hot water on, then went downstairs to do laundry.
But I know my daughter, and I know she definitely would have screamed as soon as she touched the water. As soon as she touched the water. No, she definitely would have screamed as soon as she touched the water.
To do laundry.
But I know my daughter, and I know she definitely would have screamed as soon as she touched the water.
I 100% agree. Black Superwoman said a grown person would jump out. Any alive, living, breathing person, even if they weren't very smart, would have jumped out just by instinct.
Reports show when the suspect later returned to the bathroom, she was crying and saw that she had burns on her body. Then texted her mother, who brought her to the hospital.
She has second-degree burns on about 15% of her body.
Anthony says she has horrific injuries, but is thankful she is alive.
She literally could have drowned. It could have been a completely different situation.
What's even more troubling,
He didn't show any remorse at all.
after such a harrowing incident,
My daughter definitely deserves justice.
Anthony wants
I don't understand. I don't understand how he said that he put this child in this scalding hot water, went downstairs to do laundry. She screamed, I guess, later, and then you came back upstairs. None of that makes any sense at all.
this to serve as a lesson for others.
What I really want people to know is definitely just be aware of who you have around your kids.
Because what the boyfriend is trying to say is that the kid screamed later. That kid screamed immediately. So how did he not know? And how was he able to leave her in that tub? He didn't, because I believe he held her in there.
Like, you never really know.
And Saygo is being held in the Milwaukee County Jail on a $1,000 bail for felony neglecting a child. As for little Kelsey, her dad says she has to have surgery once a week on her wounds. There has been a GoFundMe page set up to help with medical costs. We've posted that on our website, fox6now.com.
Pepper said, why would he be doing laundry with a bathing toddler? Ooh, that's actually a great question. Because just like Black Superwoman said, a child can drown in an inch of water. So that means you cannot leave them unattended in a tub. Again, all of these things are very, very common sense that don't add up for this dude lying about what he did with this kid. Let's move on to the next one.
Bandaged from her torso to her toes.
She's got a lot of pain.
Anthony Wilson
I really broke out.
says it's heartbreaking seeing his daughter Kelsey Wilson in this condition.
I couldn't stop crying. I was
The water too hot. Wrong for child.
Okay, I must have recorded that wrong. Let me see if I can get this one. If not, I'll try to pull it up. Let me see if I can get this one. This one does the same thing. Okay. Let me see if y'all give me a second. Y'all know I don't normally do this. I normally got my stuff together. Let me see if I can pull this story back up real quick, if I can find where I got it from, because I really wanted to hear that particular news story. Y'all give me a second. And if y'all would click that thumbs up, help us share this stream, help us share this story. Y'all give me a second. Let me see if I can pull this up, because normally I have my stories together, but apparently I did not record that audio correctly. Let me see if I can find it. Y'all hold on a second.
Birthday.
She's very energetic.
I've got that one. Let's see, it's not here, I don't believe, because it was at the top. Well, damn, that sucks, because I really wanted to hear the audio on that video. So hold on. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it. Hold on. Let's see if this is it.
Literally my worst nightmare.
A father talking about his.
This is not it, but we'll take a look at this one. Shoot. I really hate this because I already had this stuff.
Visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the RDX at the Acura Season of Performance event going on now.
And I hate all these ads. I hate these ads.
This is literally my worst nightmare.
A father talking about his 1-year-old daughter and what she endured when she was burned in a scalding hot bathtub. Little girl suffered severe burns to a large part of her body.
A 27-year-old Milwaukee man has been arrested and charged with felony neglect of a child. Brittany Lewis talked to the child's father and joins us here in the studio with that. Brittany?
Natalie, that little girl was released from the hospital last week, was back again today for surgery as part of her recovery process. She has severe burns to her legs, chest, back, and shoulder. According to a criminal complaint, a man living with the girl's mom put her in the bathtub and went to do laundry. When he came back, she was crying and had burns on her body. He texted her mom and said he made the water too hot, but he didn't do it on purpose. But on Friday, Akeem Saygo was charged with neglecting a child. The girl's father believes it was intentional.
I didn't stop crying when I first heard it. When I first saw it, it broke my heart. Seeing my daughter and seeing like the condition her skin was in, knowing how traumatizing this is going to be for her and how long it's going to take for her skin to actually recover and get back to its normal color, is definitely heartbreaking.
According to the criminal complaint, the little girl has a risk of permanent scarring. Hear much more from her dad tonight at 9 and 10, including his message to other parents about protecting their children. In the studio, Brittany Lewis, CBS 58 News.
All right, I have to apologize about the other two videos, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. I got to apologize about those other two videos because I did not record the audio properly, but nonetheless, y'all get the point. Again, what you're looking at is his court date was today, so I'm not exactly sure what happened in court today because sometimes finding that information is a little bit difficult, but his name is Akeem, Akeem Saygo. Let me get his face back up on the screen for you. Right there, 27 years old. His court date was today, and I don't know what exactly they did today, but he was facing neglecting a child. Charged with neglecting a child. Consequence is great bodily harm. The charge is a Class A felony that is carried up to 12 years and 6 months in prison if he's fully convicted of that entire thing. But again, that is just a weird thing to match up with $1,000 bail. Like, I don't even know how that works and why you would allow somebody to get out of jail that easily for doing something this heinous to a kid, and the fact that the consequences could end up leading that fool right there in jail for 12 years. Just doesn't make any sense at all, man. And these kids can't speak for themselves. They cannot defend themselves. This is a beautiful little girl, man. And I'm going to get back on one of my favorite pictures of her that I saw. Because she has just we need to talk about those screenshots and the GoFundMe. I forgot about that. I almost forgot about that. That right there. That's where I'm going to pause it. That picture right there. That little girl, man, just has the most innocent, sweet smile. There is absolutely nothing that girl did to deserve what it is that she got. What that dude did to her, she did not deserve. But let me point something else out that I took a screenshot of that I thought was even more indicative that this dude was just a straight up asshole and the mom enabled all of this to happen. I'm going to blow this up on the screen so you guys can see this. The biological mother took this, and she's lucky that I didn't find her name because I definitely would have exposed it. The biological mother took this photo and posted it. That's the boyfriend, and the other kid back there in the back. You can't see the face, so no worries there. He's kissing the little girl that he burnt almost to death, kissing Kelsey on the head. And the mom said, Bay, because of course she has to call this thug some nice name, Bay fed her fat self, and he calls her daughter a fat self. I never like when women call kids derogatory things, but then try to make it seem like it's cute. Bay fed her fat self some bananas and was out 2 minutes later. Heart emoji. He crazy about his chunky butt. He crazy about his chunky butt. That's not his kid. How is he crazy about his chunky butt, but then tried to burn this kid to death? Oh, and it don't stop there. This broad was all on social media. Here's the next photo. Take a look at this. Posted this and said, Stepdaddy lives matter. And again, that thug fool is posted with the baby. That is not his child. Stepdaddy lives do not matter when you treat kids like this. There are a handful of stepfathers out there, and shout out to the ones that do believe in taking care of kids like you would your own biological kid. But it's very few and far in between, and there's too many of these dudes that ain't shit for you to just trust any and all dudes around your kids, let alone giving them baths. Right? Thought I'd point that out. Stepdaddy lives matter. Horrible picture, horrible caption. This dude is a horrible person. Now, let me show you guys the GoFundMe for the biological father in case anybody wants to pass this information along, potentially donate, but I'll go ahead and show you where they are because y'all know that this little girl is going to be facing a long road of recovery, okay? So let me go ahead and post that so y'all know where the official GoFundMe is. Justice for Kelsey. This was created by Kelsey Wilson. Let me make sure. Hold on. Kelsey Wilson is the child. I don't even know what the biological mom's name is, so I don't know how Kelsey Wilson is the organizer. I don't know. Please assist me with getting justice for my daughter Kelsey. Okay, so it must have been the father. She was seriously hurt this Sunday by an evil man who decided to give her a bath in scalding hot water. She has multiple surgeries and will take at least a year to fully recover. Any donation to help to assist with her recovery, please pray for my baby as well. So obviously that was the biological father that wrote that. He has currently a $10,000 goal, and they're currently at $1,100 after, how long has it been up? 3 days. But there it is. That's the official GoFundMe. So here's what I want to say again to the biological father. Bro, go to family court really quick. If they have an emergency injunction that they can institute in order for you to emergency get custody of your kid, then you better do it and find out what it's going to take to be able to get your kid full custody of your kid. Like, I would also fight to make sure that the mother doesn't even have access to be able to have visitation. Fight for whatever you need to, because the mother clearly shows that she does not care about this kid. This kid cannot deal, this little baby cannot deal with the tyranny of her caretakers, which is her biological mother and boyfriend. She could not speak for herself. She could not defend herself from being almost boiled to death. We are thankful to be able to present this story. The fact that this little girl lived. Can we get a prayer hands up in the chat for that? Thank you, princess. That's what I was looking for. Thank you for that emoji. Because those emojis are only available to our channel members. And I need to try to copy that real quick so I can post it in the chat. Let's get a prayer hands emojis. If you don't have access to the AFC prayer hand emojis, then just post the regular ones in there. But I'm thankful to the fact that this little girl was able to live. So this is actually a positive story, especially before Christmas. You know, we have a lot of tragedies that have already occurred. So we're definitely going to have to make sure and give just a little more light to some of these stories. But nonetheless, I'm thankful. And I hope the biological father, again, his name, let me see if I can get his name back up here. Anthony Wilson, go get your kid, bro. Go get your kid, and I hope that she lives a long, fruitful life, and I hope that she grows into being something great. So shout out to Kelsey Wilson. You stay strong, young black princess, all right? This your boy DJ Just J, man. We are the AFC, where we advocate for children first. Our new email address is right here, theafcmatters@gmail.com. If you guys need to contact me, y'all know how to holler at your boy. We'll bring you guys another story. Thank you guys for listening kind of late. And me kind of putting this together kind of, you know, I'll try to do them a little bit earlier. I love you guys. From my heart to yours, thank you for listening. Peace.